Begin transmission.
This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Hey guys. Bill isn't here yet. I'm Boo Barella and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
Hi, Boo Barella. Well, yeah, Bill hasn't come in yet, but we've got this hot chick for you guys to stare at and get us views. So, that's something. So, Boo Barella, where's Bill?
I'm
there
right
he
here.
is. Hey, there he is.
Well, I thought I would have a little fun with you guys this morning. After what happened last night towards the end of the show when we found out about another channel called Super Multiverse. What an interesting channel that is. Have you had a chance to go over and look at this this channel there, Jones?
You know, Bill, I had not. I wanted to investigate it for scientific purposes after what I was told about the channel, just to see if its content was everything that I was told it would be, but I have not had a chance to look. Did you?
I did. I perused a couple of videos on there. I don't know if you're aware of a lady by the name of Sarah J or not.
I am not.
She is an actress who plays in Prawn, and she is affiliated with this channel in some form or fashion. There is an interview with her on this channel. The other thing that I noticed was some very interesting things. Let me quote our friend Johnny Sorensen here. That near naked chick talking about Motu Leach was some total bullshit. What a fuckload of crap. Way to game the system, I guess. I mean, I'd rather just watch Prawn. Who would pay for the fucking OnlyFans? Fuck off with that. Yes, if you go to their About on their page, they do link to their OnlyFans, I suppose, so that you could see these scantily clad women without the scanty on, so you can see them in their entirety. Yes, and let's see, Super Multiverse YouTube, the official YouTube page of supermultiverse.com. So there is a web page associated with this, not only on OnlyFans. Let's see what they have here. Video games, wrestling, comics. That might be interesting for you there, Motu.
Absolutely.
Toys, anime, pop culture, and this is the most important part, lovely ladies.
Well, I mean, I guess I can't blame them for their hustle. I mean, that's smart. I mean, who knew that nerdy guys like looking at boobies? I mean, this was information to me. I had no idea.
I mean, it's a shocker, is it not?
Yeah, sex sells. Who knew?
Now, subscribe, like, and comment. Well, that's what's going on today with the thumbnail. I'm decided that I'm going to get in on the hustle too, and see if this don't drum up a little bit of at least a few more likes and maybe views than what I normally get. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, either that or they're gonna run in, look right at my ass, and run away.
Well, I'm no better. I can tell you that now. Going on, quoting Johnny Sorensen here, quote, "What a garbage, laughable channel. Good on them if they can make a buck. Near nude bikini girls doing toy reviews. A fucking joke."
Well, quite honestly, Bill, and I hate to look at this objectively, and I admire their hustle. You know, they can make a dollar, but now let's be fair here. If you could hear me talk about Masters of the Universe, that'd be one thing. But if I was like a hot chick talking about Masters of the Universe, I mean, isn't that a little better to look at?
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Boom Barella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
There she is, folks. Every once in a while, if anybody gets to bitching about the fact that the boobies are not here, Boobarella will come in and tell you. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Are you interested in the new McFarlane Superpowers line, Joneser?
You know, I started out pretty hot into them, and my enthusiasm has waned.
Well, let me tell you there, sir. If you want to get your interest back peaked, there is a Batwing review here on Super Multiverse. Batwing DC Superpowers unboxed. Brittany unboxes McFarlane Toys DC Superpowers Batwing Toy Mobile on behalf of SuperMultiverse.com. Alternate spicy version of this video available on OnlyFans. And the thumbnail picture shows the girl with a bikini on, and instead of the bikini top, she's got the bat wing across her.
All right. To showcase the toy.
Yeah, of course. That's exactly what it is. It's nothing more than that.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
About the toy.
All about the toys. Yes, all about toys. Now, I invited Clifton to come in, but it's a Sunday. I know he's got a show to prepare for tonight, which I think someone may be guesting on. Who could that be?
Yeah, I know a guy.
I think I do too. I think he's right here with me, as a matter of fact. If you guys want to see the special on Ozzy Osbourne, check out Attorney and Ellipse tonight, and Motu Joneser, of course, who has an Ozzy tattoo on his arm, and who better to teaser. Who better to talk about Ozzy than a man with an Ozzy tattoo on his arm? That means it all right there.
Well, I've probably seen him in concert about a dozen times as well. So,
a real super Uber fan here, folks. Let's check out the chat. The chat started early this morning. Let's see when at the time stamp on this. This is 4:02 a.m. Central Time this morning. Chris Tremblett came in from Everything's Plastic Collectibles and Reviews, and he's calling me out here. Fishing for views with this thumbnail. Ha ha ha. I'm going to be terribly disappointed if you don't look like this when the show starts. I got your ass. Haha. I did look like that when the show started. And Johnny Sorensen, who I quoted earlier, is sponsor of Snake Mountain. Gojatron came in shortly thereafter. Now, this is at 4 a.m. this morning for a show that starts at 12 noon today, folks. The thumbnail got posted shortly before these comments were made. So that really, I mean that it's empirical evidence.
Well, yeah, Bill, you put out the cheese.
Boobs sale.
You put out the cheese, and the mouse came to the trap.
Absolutely. And of course, my internet's going to do the same thing that it always does. but we're used to that here at Weird Fantastic Toy Adventure.
Yeah, we roll with the punches on these fantastic adventures.
Absolutely. Shaitan's Hammer, good to see you there, sir. Glad you could come in and join me today. Michael Purvis, good to see you there. Hey, everyone, says Michael. There's Chris Tremblett, speaking of the devil. Hey, everybody. I hope all are doing good. We are. And Susudio, who was not able to join us last night, but did leave a comment on last night's video, says, hello, everyone in the chat. Good to see you. And hello to me. Hello there, Susudio. I see you. Booba. Hello, everyone, says Boa Hicks with the clown face. AI art is great. Is it not? Is it not? It's a wonderful thing. Super multiverse. We may go over there and peruse some videos later on today on today's show, even though this is not late night and this is more of a family show than what the late night is. This must be seen to be believed. Yes. Behave there, gentlemen. That ain't no fun.
Yeah. If you can't be good, have fun.
Absolutely not. You're spectruming it out there for a second. But yep. That happened.
Speak of the devil, we the spectrum out again right there. These fantastic adventures will be back after your glitchiness. I see him. He is touching his nose. He is sniffling. He has moved.
Hello there. Hey.
We got him.
All right. I'm here. I think that catches up the chat. Here we go. Michael Purvis. Don't feel bad, Bill. Mine just went out because we had a storm here. Yeah, happens. And of course, that amuses Chris greatly. So good. Got the chat caught up. And let's see what we got on par for today. Okay. Recently, Mattel, as you know, we talked about this a while back. Mattel goes out and they contact the YouTube channels and they entice them with videos. You can get these videos early and download them now, but you have to wait and play them on a certain date. And you also have to kiss our butts and tell all the good things that there are to tell about our toys as you give us free promotional support for our toys. And we'll throw you a bone every once in a while there, creators. And people bite for this. And of course, I'm not knocking Pixel Dan. We all say, don't hate the player, hate the game. And of course, Pixel Dan has bitten. We know he has bitten. And I have bitten as well. I went over there and snagged his video that Mattel sent him. I'm not playing his video, people. I'm playing Mattel's video that is now free and I think open game now that it's all over the freaking YouTubes for all the people who, to get it from Mattel. So now that that's over with, and they don't give a shit about me, and I wouldn't bite anyway, but I got the video. Would you like to see the promotional video that Mattel sent out on the new Origin Snake Mountain? If you haven't seen it already on Pixel Dan, I've got it here. Ready?
I've seen it, but yeah, let's go.
All right, here we go. Yes, and here we have. I'm going through the chat here as that was playing. Shaitan's Hammer wants one. Boba Hicks wants one. Speaking of the stop motion, that animation at the beginning, the way it was set up and the way it looked awful familiar to me. Pixel Dan said he didn't know who did it, but he would like to give a shout out to whoever did it if he could. Well, I have my sneaking suspicions that it is Justin Ross. Looks like what he's done before. We've seen that with the Motu quote unquote commercial that he did with his family, intercut with stop motion and his family playing with the He-Man toys. So I have a feeling that Mattel contacted him, had him do some stop motion for him, maybe gave him a few bucks there as an incentive. So I hope that's the case if it is, because it looked sharp. Yes, it did.
Well, Bill, that was the only part of that clip that I had not seen before. So that was very exciting for me to see that stop motion portion of it. I've seen the interview several times.
Yeah. And of course, the interview is great because they go and they showcase each and every aspect of the toy so that you can see it in operation. It did look like the bridge was about the same size as the old bridge, so they're going to have to sidestep across that instead of walking, normally. But I can deal with that. I mean, I dealt with that for over 30 years, 40 years, so
Correct.
so interesting Skeletor head. If that snake armor Skeletor, it looked like he may have an articulating jaw as well. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think that's just for the stop motion. I do not believe the actual toy has that, though I do not have one in hand to tell you for sure. I passed on Snake Armor, He-Man, and Skeletor.
I did too. I wasn't interested in that because I'm not really interested in Snake Men. But that brings up a point, though. What do you think there, Joneser? Do you think that Snake Mountain has always been Skeletor's hideout, or do you think that the Snake Men originally occupied that dwelling? Skeletor got it later, and now the Snake Men have come back to get their headquarters back.
Well, that is the lore according to the Mike Young 2000X He-Man animation, and I do believe the mini comics may have touched on that as well, as I believe the Snake Men came out of a pit in Snake Mountain where they were imprisoned. So I'm with the other guy, though. We've all moved into a place that wasn't ours to begin with, but it's yours now that you live there. Snake Mountain belongs to Skeletor and his crew, and King Hiss is just going to have to take it back, which it looks like he was well on his way to doing so in that animation.
The animation was pretty sharp, and yes, you're correct. Now, the Filmation lore says that Snake Mountain was created by Skeletor. So you go with that or you go with the other. Now, I know...
Using the golden discs of knowledge, if I remember correctly.
Correct. He used those to build Snake Mountain, if I'm not mistaken. Now, there are golden books. If you remember the golden books, some of them, I think these were in the hardback golden books that may have been UK release golden books. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody out there who may know better. But they pretty much gave Snake Mountain over to the Snake Men in those books. And it was pretty much considered to be King Hiss's headquarters in those books. But these were also the books that said that Point Dread was Skeletor's abode or headquarters. So, and that I've said this before, and people have heard me say it here on the channel, but some new viewers may not have. Yes, originally in the designers' minds, those who were writing the story lore line to go along with the toys, had envisioned that Skeletor's headquarters would have been Point Dread, and this was before the Talon Fighter was added to it. It was considered a rocky outpost in the ocean, and underneath it was all sorts of huge caverns and halls and dungeons, and this was where Skeletor had taken up shop. So you know, you take what you will. Thing like we know the lore has evolved over time, and that part was dropped, but not before some books had been released. And so, you know, you take what you will of it and you use it in your own playtime as you would, I would say.
Well, and Bill, adding to your commentary here on which headquarters would belong to Skeletor, and I know you're a big fan of the original mini comics, as am I. If you remember right, in those original minis, Skeletor more occupied Grayskull than He-Man did. You know, he was
always trying to get in it. He-Man had no designs on it. He wanted to protect it from evil.
Correct.
He really didn't want it for himself, you know, because he's a selfless, you know, hero.
Right.
Skeletor, on the other hand, got in it all the time and then had to be ejected on various occasions. Yes.
You know, and he could also make the argument that it's literally his face on the building. You know, so I think if he had his way, that's where he would rather be. And the Snake Man could have that moldy old Snake Mountain. He wouldn't care. He doesn't want to be there anyways.
Well, let's look at the original box art. Rudy Abreu may have done it. I don't remember. But Skeletor, it looked like it was Skeletor's castle. And it looked like that He-Man and the heroes were assaulting the place. And it looked like Beastman was on He-Man's side in that artwork.
Yeah. Yeah. There they had the other artwork with the battle cat, and they had armies of battle cats riding around. So, you know, like the stories and the lore has been monkeyed with and changed and moved around.
Yeah, and of course, I like the box art on some of the vehicles. For instance, the Wind Raider. It looks like everybody had their Wind Raider. There were even evil versions of the Wind Raiders, and everybody was flying around on them. Same with the Sky Sled from the Battle Ram artwork.
Well, and I think the original plan for Mattel was they were going to compete with Star Wars. So they were imagining a multi-universe of space battles, you know.
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Umbrella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
Am I back?
Umbrella. And there's Bill.
Yeah, she said hi back. And Shaitan's Hammer agrees with me that it looks like Justin's work there. And the stage looks like the same space that he used for his earlier. And if you go over to his YouTube channel, you can see a making of video where it shows how he made that whole that whole set that he used to film that, and had the walls painted with the skyline and everything, so that the sand tables that he had set up for the scenes look like they just blended in with the background. Awesome.
The guy does tremendous work, you know, and I've watched all of those stop motions many times and wished I had the time to create anything half as good as that.
And Boa agrees with you. He doesn't look like the jaw is articulated on Snake Armor Skeletor, but there is a coming up Skeletor release that will have a articulated jaw. Tell me about that, Joneser.
Well, it looks like the Skeletor for the Screech 2-pack. We were looking at the photos, and it looked like they had not an alternate head, but one with jaw open, jaw closed. And we're anticipating that to have an articulated jaw. And I really liked the color choice that they did for that Skeletor. I mean, the last thing I think most of us Origins collectors need is another alternate He-Man and Skeletor. But that one really appealed to me just because the way the color popped. You know, it looked like the box art from the vintage Screech 2-pack.
Absolutely.
Bill, we lost you there for a second. You got your Max Headroom going on.
Oh, there's Clifton.
Oh, there we are.
Hey, Sir Clifton. Good to see you, man.
Good morning.
Long time no see, sir.
Yeah, where's all the pretty ladies?
Oh, we got Booberella here.
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Umbrella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
Yes. Yes, we are, Booberella. Thank you.
Satan's Hammer brings up a pretty good point. In the King of Castle Grayskull, Steel literally handed it over to Skeletor because he resembled the facade. That's an interesting comic. I've got to do a deep dive on that one. That would be someday the second part of the deep dive that I started last year with the very first the He-Man and the Power Sword. So Skeletor hanging out on the top of Castle Grayskull is angry and whatever, and he decides that he's going to use the energy blade there to create a magic lens so he can see what's going on inside the castle. Inside the castle, the spirit of Castle Grayskull has chosen T-Lot to become the guardian of the castle, kind of like in Filmation, the sorceress was given this duty. Well, this was the beginning of that lore and how the idea started in somebody's head, I suppose. So T-Lot is now the guardian of Castle Grayskull. A piss poor guardian, in my opinion, because Skeletor decides that all he has to do is to cake his face up with a little bit of clay from outside of the castle, and she would never know that it's him, just because he's got blue skin and his face looks skull-like, even with some clay smeared across it, and he's wearing his same old harness, and he's got Skeletor's nasty-looking old gnarly feet. This is obviously not Skeletor because, like domino masks on our favorite heroes, you can't tell who that is if even part of their face is obscured.
Well, to be fair, she never caught Prince Adam and He-Man, even though the hair got darker and the skin got tanner. You know, it's just really the only difference.
Same haircut, whole bit. Yeah. So, like Lois Lane, I guess T-Law is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I don't know, but anyway, so she figures that since his face resembles the facade of the castle, that maybe he is the king, and hands the castle over to him. And as soon as she does, what does he do? He double crosses her and throws her ass in the dungeon.
Typical Skeletor fashion.
Oh yeah, I mean he's not to be trusted. He's a piece of crap, or as Mr. Home Arcade says, a bitch. Boba Hicks thinks that it's Hasbro fucking with my stream.
That would be a nice compliment if we got on their radar.
Wouldn't it though? I hate to say this, but I've got to go. Oh, I got to go check on Dad and having dinner with him and stuff. Well, it's good that you stopped by Studio. Glad to see you today. Be sure to hit the like button on the way out. Come back and rewatch it later and leave all kinds of nice comments in the comment section later. You need a stud man to accompany Boobarella. Let's just say we'll take that under consideration. The only extra thing Skeletor could have done was put on glasses. Well, we know from Tick's encounter with the Caped Wonder back in issue number 2, I believe, of the Tick comic by New England Comics. I'm sure you're familiar with this. That when he encountered the Caped Wonder, Clark Oppenheimer, he found out that Clark Oppenheimer wears hypnotic glasses. And the hypnotic glasses are what obscures him from being known as the Caped Wonder. And of course, the Tick, of course, as in his alter ego as Mr. Ned, the crossword editor there for the newspaper, in full Tick attire, had on a hypnotic tie, and no one could tell that he was the Tick because of the hypnotic tie. So maybe there's some hypnosis going on here, folks.
Yeah, well, and if Clifton was a superhero, it would be Super Oakley's.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, and Sue Studio catches on here to our evil ways. She knew that we wouldn't consider it a stud man.
But that's what me and Jones are here for.
I was going to say, aren't there 3 of them?
3 studs right here. These 3 stud men right here. Absolutely.
I mean, there's bearded ladies there.
And for you guys, you know, of course, there's.
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Boobarella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
She kind of pretty,
Thank
though.
you, Boobarella. Yeah. You know, she keeps saying the same thing, but I never get tired of hearing it.
I mean, come on, guys. All right. So, what's the official currency of Eternia? Come on, guys, come up with something. Joneser,
Gold.
Clifton,
Widget.
say that again.
A widget.
A widget.
Well, they trade widgets for.
It's fictional. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
weren't the
Kinda like
widgets
on a
those little
back to
midget
school.
people that lived in the little town that Manny
Yeah.
Face was? Oh, so they use people as currency on the channel, Clifton. You've gone into a dark
Right.
place.
Come
there,
here,
so-
Squanch. I need some bread.
I'm just referring to back to school. It's,
Oh, sure,
yeah.
sure.
it's a fictional currency. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Right.
No, you accidentally stumbled onto the little people of Eternia then.
Please like and subscribe and share, and don't miss any future content. Hit the notification bell. Thank you, Nightbot. How is everyone? Says Bjorn Jorgensen, who already shambolicsed us when he showed up in the house earlier. I'm doing swimmingly well. I'm looking forward to Snake Mountain coming someday and being able to incorporate it here into the display that I have over here. Let's see. You guys can see they've got that set up once again today. You can see Zoar back there. You can see. Can you see that right there? That's what I'm wondering. Oh, check that
Put
out.
yourself
You got,
up on full there, Bill.
huh? Oh,
Put it
yeah,
on
should.
full. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. How about that?
Much
Can you
better.
guys see that little character right there? A friend of mine named Roy Stiffley made a cringer for me out of a different toy line, but he painted that up for me. It kind of looks kind of cute, kind of cringer like, and he's kind of the right size for the cringer in Origins, I think. So we've got that going on.
Yeah, no, as a kid, I never liked the idea of taking the armor off a battle cat and he's supposed to be Cringer because the mouth was open and the cat still looked fierce to me. So it's like Cringer was supposed to be kind of smaller and a little wimpy looking, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I always thought that Cringer looked I thought he looked pretty cool. I liked Cringer. Cringer was one of my favorite characters. I liked his asides, kind of he dry deadpan, and he's like, no, we're not doing that, Adam. He didn't want to be Battle Cat, by God.
No.
He wanted to go do something else. Oh, do we have to do that? No.
No, Cringer was the comedy act in it, and the earlier episodes before they really made the voice a little more high pitched and annoying sounding, it was a little better. I think earlier than in the later episodes, he got that real, like real upper register. I liked it on the lower register.
And going back through the chat here, if I wanted to purchase some black flowers from the Evil Baron, what would I be handing over? You would be handing over coins of gold. As a matter of fact, we're all aware that Eldor of Eternia has made his way onto YouTube by the great Eye of Eternia. We get to hear from him on occasion. Sometimes he pops into our chats and says things. And he says that he purchases his things with gold. So that makes me believe that maybe gold is the currency there.
I went that way just because it seemed medieval to me.
Exactly. That's a good idea. And Bjorn says that wants to know why it has to be black flowers instead of pink. Now, if you're a fan of Grindhead Jim and myself, you will get this reference. Do either of you guys get the reference?
It's pink flowers, thing. Pink roses.
This is a majestic thing, my friends. All right, it's time for a lesson in inside jokes in the Grind family. Bjorn is a Lego fan, a big Lego fan.
Yep, that I knew. If you follow his Instagram, it's pretty obvious.
Within the last year or two, Lego released a release called the Majestic Tiger. Are either of you guys aware of the Majestic Tiger?
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this.
The Majestic Tiger features a pink Lego flower in an interesting place to take the place of an interesting piece of anatomy on said tiger. Need I go any further?
Nope, gotcha.
What about you, Clifton? Are you still lost?
No, I got you.
And that's why, Bjorn, that Boba Hicks did not say pink. They should have packed Adam with a Cringer.
I agree.
A Cringer Adam 2-pack. Now, would that have not been better than a Sky Sled Adam 2-pack? Which means if we want an evil Sky Sled, we have to have another Adam figure that we don't need.
Right. Or the Sky Sled should have came by itself with a battle ram. There's an idea.
Why did they not release the Empire? Where is it at? Freaking
That makes too much sense, Joneser.
Right.
oh God, yes. I mean, why do we need all this cool stuff here when we have just this, and we can release him with a figure that you only need one of, so that if you want to swap the heads out and make an evil one, you got to have two figures of something you only need one of. Oh, this makes perfect sense to me.
Well, and I mean, that's why I think they should have, if they have consultants on TV shows and comic books and toys and movies and things, they should really look into the fan base of the people who are actually going to be spending their hard-earned money on these intellectual properties. Because it seems to me these decisions are made like corporately and through bean counters and people that just don't know what these people want to buy.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. That makes perfect sense.
Who knew?
Right.
Well, at least
But
Cinderella can tell.
The thing is, no matter how much perfect sense that you make, executives cannot go in that direction. They know better because they have what's called a master's business administration, which makes them smarter than you and me and all the rest of these plebes that they think they're getting over on by foisting off these shitty toys on, like the latest release from Hasbro of the Indiana Jones figures that Carl was happy to tell us the other night are shit.
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Boom Barella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
Boy, I hate seeing her leave, but I love watching her go.
Black flowers are addictive psychedelics on Eternia, Bjorn.
Oh, there you go.
Or the lore that we learn on that show.
I remember that. That was the Just Say No episode where the kids were seeing flowers.
Just say no.
I might be making my first custom figure commission for some guy, whoever he may be, if he gets back to me. Sounds legit. But Bjorn, if he asks you to get in the car with him, don't.
No.
Especially if he's not wearing any pants.
Especially if he has toys.
Yeah. No pants, dead giveaway.
Michael Purvis got bit not 3 but 4 times.
I got 3 of them. 1 in box, 1 for Lyric, 1 for me. So we have 2 opened Sky Sleds that we could. So 1 for each we could do when we play around. We thought about opening the other box just to have 3.
I have the original Prince Adam Origins release, the one with the cloth goods blue jacket on. Does that count as a third Adam?
I suppose, but I that's a cool look for him. I mean, a lot of us who followed the comic book, and the DC comic Prince Adam, the mead swilling guy who tied dumbbells and knots, dude. Well, he was a different Adam altogether, in my opinion.
He liked his women.
Oh yeah.
And he liked his grog, his mead. He loved that.
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Boom Barella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
Yeah.
You know, just today I opened this version of Prince Adam here. It's the
Let's pull
Masterverse.
him up here so we can see what he's got there in his
Masterverse Battle Armor He-Man. And in this version of the lore, that is Prince Adam, General Adam. So that's another different version of Prince Adam in a way, but this version is He-Man.
So in this lore, he's not a disappointment to King Randall.
No, he's the best warrior. He's, you know, they just did a recent comic book with Dark Horse Comics. I got a few issues of that, and it's called Masterverse. So it's the new, like, you know, the new Eternia toys. It's kind of based off of that. So they're stepping away from Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelation and digging into the lore of this new Eternia. And Bill, I really think you'd like where the story goes with this comic, because they're exploring, you know how they did like Into the Spider-Verse? Mm-hmm. Well, they're doing kind of like Into the He-Man Masterverse. So they're exploring all different versions
of a multiverse. So in other words, whatever you can imagine, there's a world out there with that going on in it, kind of idea.
Right. And they start out with the Revelation He-Man, but a little more of a traditional point of story. You know, He-Man defending Castle Grayskull with the Sorceress, and then Zodak and the Sorceress explore all the different universes. And it's a really cool comic. I'm really getting into it, and it's neat. And I thought of you because they had, you know, like mini comic He-Man, and they had like Barbarian He-Man, they had that concept art He-Man, they have Netflix He-Man, they have toy He-Man, and it's kind of neat to see all the different ways that they can do this. And I'm hoping that once they get rid of this latest season of Kevin Smith's Revelation He-Man, that they go in this direction, because that would be epic.
That would be epic. That would be absolutely epic.
Yeah, it would.
Let's see here. I'm surprised they still haven't done a single carded Prince Adam or a 2-pack with Cringer. Don't hold your breath, Boba Hicks. Don't hold your breath, right. Mark.
Or even for She-Ra fans, an Adora figure. Adora was a very different look from She-Ra.
Yeah, Adora was kind of like a Prince Adam for her, although Adora was much more adorable and heroic than Prince Adam was.
Right.
But he said he has free candy. Don't do it, Bjorn. Don't do it, man. Just don't. So, guys, did you enjoy last night's show? Was that an interesting show or what? Hell,
that was awesome.
It went so many different ways. William Shatner as the voice of Hordak. I don't know that for a fact, but I suspect it.
It's looking that
way. Is that what
it's
you said?
Looking that way, I think.
It's pretty cool, I think. Really do think that's an interesting idea there, to have William Shatner come in and voice Hordak. Look, I never got into the evil Horde. I wasn't interested in even getting Hordak or any of his crew. So the only evil Horde character I have is Leech, and it's simply because I just like the Leech figure, the look of his, not the suction cup head, but the cool head. You know what I'm saying? I like that.
Sure.
Kind of neat. But I'm sure you're an evil Horde fan there. Do you think that Hordak is a little more powerful than Skeletor, and maybe could whoop that ass if he wanted to?
You know, it all depends on what version of the lore you want to go with. In some of the versions of the lore, Hordak's almost a godlike character in some of the DC Comics versions that they touch. And in the Filmation version, it seemed like Skeletor always had the upper hand on him. He seemed to one-up Hordak every time they met, you know? So I guess it just depends. My favorite version of Hordak, to be quite honest with you, was the one I was first introduced, and that would be the mini comic action figure Hordak. To me, the Horde was a game changer. Right when Masters of the Universe was getting a little stale, in my opinion, with He-Man versus Skeletor, here we have a third faction that was loyal to neither, and it made it a three-way fight, which I think was made for interesting alliances.
Yes, and of course that would lead to He-Man and Skeletor joining forces because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But of course, just like wrestling, if Bill Dundee and Jerry Lawler team up against Austin Idol and Handsome Jimmy Valiant, somewhere along the line, Bill Dundee's going to turn on Lawler.
You know, and it was the same, like Skeletor and Hordak would once in a while team up with a very short-lived, you know, until, you know, they decide to backstab each other at some point.
What's the old saying that used to be? I think on one of the illustrations in the old Advanced Dungeons and Dragons manuals, it said, "There is no honor amongst thieves."
Correct.
That bat vampire thing with Hordak, I liked a lot. It says Shaitan's hammer.
Well, you know, I think if you look at the original 4 members of the Horde, you get the classic horror characters. You know, Hordak with the vampire, Leech with the creature of the Black Lagoon, Grizzlor with the werewolf, and Mantenna, I suppose, some kind of insect man or whatever have you. But then Modulok with
the Metaluma mutant.
Right. But I mean, you got like Modulok with the Frankenstein, like a character that was built out of something, you know, so that they had the kind of a horror motif, you know, for us horror fans.
That's an interesting take, and I have never considered that. And I'm glad you brought that up, Joneser, because I had never thought about that. But now that you mention it, it makes perfect freaking sense. And you've stunned Sir Clifton down there. He's just been speechless for this whole bit.
Probably hard to get a word in edgewise with us.
I know. I talk 90 miles an hour. What do you think there, Sir Clifton? Speak your mind, brother.
I don't know. I mean, he's one of those. Hordak's one of those characters, just like on anything else. I mean, you kind of use your own adventure, you know. Do you want him to be? Do you want him to overpower Skeletor, or you know? I mean, he taught him.
Yeah, he is Skeletor's mentor after all.
You got to have that concept, like I would have. You know, I'm going to teach you, but I'm only going to go so far.
Yeah, I'm not going to teach you.
I'm not going to let you, you know, get the upper hand on me at some point. I'm going to teach you, but I'm only going to show you so much. And then, you know, if you ever turn on me or something like that, and we get into a battle or something, you know, I'm going to have a little bit of an upper hand. But
so
I mean, it's use your adventure.
A kind of a Palpatine Vader vibe going on there, you know. I am the master, you are the pupil, but your job is to become the master. But in order to do that, you have to defeat me first, and I'm not going to allow that. So, you know, an interesting idea. And people forget, says Shaitan's Hammer, that the Hordak faced off with He-Man long before She-Ra. I guess, yeah, exactly. And in the I would say in the mini comic lore at the time, Hordak was He-Man's villain. He was She-Ra's villain only on the Filmation cartoons, right?
Yes, that is exactly how it, and that's how I remember it. In fact, quite honestly, that's the Horde I love best. She-Ra was cool for that. They needed a villain, and they had the Horde ready to go, so it made sense to do that. But quite honestly, those mini comics with the original Horde when they first came out, and that's probably my peak interest of Motu right there, you know, because the Horde was a game changer. That changed everything.
Absolutely. And No Way Farms has come in. Good to see you. Taking a break, tuning in for a couple of minutes. How's the little man doing? I want to know, No Way. And how are the little piggies doing there on the pig farm? I would like to know. Good to see you. I've missed you here, No Way. Good to see you come back to us. Skeletor is Vader and Hordak as the Emperor. Absolutely. And adding in the fall of Keldor even makes that go deeper. So, are you guys a fan of the idea that Skeletor was originally Keldor and that he became Skeletor instead of the original lore, which says that he was a demon from another dimension who fell to Eternia through a crack in the in reality that happened as a result of the Great Wars?
Why don't you start with that, Clifton?
It's good either way to me. I mean, you do if you want to go with the Keldor route, it's real cool because you got a backstory here with this guy and how he become to be and what he was. But also on the other hand, it's that whole multiverse thing. It depends where you want to go with it and your spin and whatever story you're telling. The demon thing would be, right there.
Well, then of course we can combine realities, if you will, with the idea of Mark Taylor's original character of Demo Man, which is a man, Demo Man. So there's Keldor, there's Demo Man, and then there's the combination of these two characters, which creates Skeletor. Because after the acid hits Keldor's face, he's going to die. But Hordak saves him by infusing him with the Demo Man, which creates a different character.
Oh, Bill, you're
Bill is
beginning
not here yet. I'm Boobarella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
Well, Boobarella saves the day there every time. That is cool. Yeah, I believe that was it Masters of the Universe Classics, Bill, that started that story or that version of the story with the toys.
I'm thinking that was, and of course, say what you will about the guy. He hired some people to do the mini comics for that came up with a pretty decent storyline to further the line, and
Sure.
that being one of them to combine the idea of Keldor with an original concept of Demo Man. And like I said, when you combine those two characters, it is a different character, but the same character, sort of like when Doctor Who would regenerate. He Tom Baker's fourth Doctor was not Patrick Troughton's third Doctor, yet he retained those memories and was the same person. He just had regenerated. So that's an idea. So Skeletor isn't Keldor, but he is.
For my money, Kevin Smith did the whole Skeletor as a creature from another dimension, just like the original mini comic was in the original lore. In fact, he took it one deeper, whereas I think if you remember right, in the original mini, there was a whole planet full of people that looked like him. And
the
I did
demon
not
from
like
another
that,
dimension.
to be honest with you. I did not like that. And what they did a love story with Skeletor where he was a family man and he had kids, and that was kind of Kevin Smith's. If you read the prequel comics before Masters of the Universe Revelation, it really turned Skeletor into like this good guy, and I didn't like it. And then it didn't even go with itself, because there's a part in Masters of the Universe Revelation where Skeletor is telling Andra, "Oh, I had a face that no woman could love," and it's like, "Well, wait a minute." Then he have a wife and kids, and it didn't even he didn't even check his own work to see if it went together. So I kind of like the Keldor version of it, because there you have a difference. Here's a good person who was corrupted, and here's the corrupted version, kind of like Anakin and Darth Vader. Anakin was a good man. Once Anakin becomes Vader, Anakin is gone. He's Vader now. And of course, Luke sees there's a smidgen of him in there. But I like to think for Skeletor, there is no smidgen of Keldor no more. He's gone. It's Skeletor now. But I mean, that's just my take on it. And that's the fun thing about it.
Skeletor is irredeemable. In other words, there is no help for this man. He is thoroughly evil through and through. And Shaitan's Hammer brings up a kind of an interesting idea. Keldor thing does resonate with him. Otherwise, Skeletor is more like Thulsa Doom. I once searched for the riddle of steel, but now I found the true power. Flesh is stronger than steel. Come to me, my dear. That would be a very, very, very scary Skeletor, wouldn't you think?
Well, sure. And, I've heard other people say, as far as Skeletor, like, how far do you want to go? Like, you want him to be this total maniacal murdering person, or the goofball that we saw in Filmation that I thought was kind of humorous, to see him upside down hanging by a tree, kicking his legs, So I think meet in the middle works best with Skeletor, where I don't think he should be full-blown Freddy Krueger, but he also shouldn't be, a bumbling idiot either. But I do think it's fun to put him in silly situations that he shouldn't be in, but I don't know, that's just my thought on it. I think you can go too dark, and I think you can go too goofy. It's a good balance, I think, would be the best version of Skeletor, in my opinion.
I agree. Go ahead, Clifton.
It's really that whole aspect that we got from The Dark Knight, when Harvey Dent and Christian Bale are right there in around right up in the beginning of the movie. They're sitting in a restaurant that Bruce walked in and bought, and they're talking about Batman and vigilante thing going on, and Harvey Dent makes the comment. He says, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And you could really put that with the whole Keldor thing.
Right.
He was like what you were saying, he was a good person, and he didn't want to die, so he became a villain,
Well, there's even a touch of Thor and Loki going on there too, because if you go into the Keldor was an adopted, son of war for King Miro when they were battling the Gar or whatever, and Randor and him raised as brothers, and then of course Randor being favored. And this is another version of the story I don't like, because they get into like this racism thing where Eternians don't like the blue-skinned people, and again you plant a seed of Skeletor being the baby face, or the sympathetic one, and I don't like when they, it's hard to come back. It's like Magneto and the X-Men, like you can only do Magneto so long before you go, he's kind of got a point. So I don't like, I think when you write Skeletor or anybody that tackles this lore going forward, they need to be very cognizant of what kind of sympathies they put on him. Because if you want an irredeemable villain, then you can't do this whole color of my skin thing, but if you do want the sympathetic, shade of gray villain, then I suppose that there's a perfect formula for it.
Well, going back to Filmation, the Christmas special was one of my favorites. And we find out that no matter how evil Skeletor is, he's not going to hurt kids. He's going to make sure the kids don't get hurt. And he even saves the little puppy dog. And Oh, thank you, Mr. Skeletor. You're such a good man. I am not good. I am not good. He's carrying the little dog in his hand. I'm not good. Kind of reminds me. Do you remember a wrestling match, Sir Clifton, where The Rock broke kayfabe just for a minute and did a nice thing and took his T-shirt and gave it to a child in the audience who was suffering from some sort of an illness. And
Yep.
when he came back in the ring, everybody was cheering him, and he goes, "Don't do that! Do not cheer The Rock. You know, I am a villain, no
Right.
matter what good things I do."
Well, and if I remember right from that Christmas episode, wasn't Skeletor like infected with the spirit of Christmas? So like it wasn't really his fault that he was doing these good things. He couldn't help himself.
Right.
I think there's even a line where, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know what's wrong or what's come over me or
Yeah.
And Frank Langella did a very good Skeletor in the much maligned Masters of the Universe movie, which had its good and bad points. But Frank Langella's portrayal of Skeletor, I think, was one of the highlights of that movie.
Yeah, and I do think it was probably the best part of that movie. And if you want to do Skeletor a bit darker and a bit more vicious, I think that's a very good example of it being done well.
And if I'm not mistaken, he did that because his child was a fan of Masters of the Universe. And it was one, believe it or not, of Frank Langella's favorite roles that he ever did. And I think you touched on that on one of your shows there. One of the original Attorney and Ellipse episodes, if I'm not mistaken, there, Sir Clifton.
Yes, sir.
And if you guys haven't had a chance to go to Attorney and Ellipse, please do so and subscribe and watch some of Sir Clifton's dives into this. He goes into the lore quite deep and tells us some things that even I did not know. So we all learn from one another. I mean, it's like when Jones brought up that deal about the evil horde kind of mirroring the universal monsters. I had never considered that until he said that, and now that I think about it, it makes perfect sense.
It really does.
And Bjorn likes his villains menacing, but with occasional moments of comedy and comedic elements. The situations in which they get themselves into because of their greed or their evil desires, or I think are what makes the best comedy with a villain.
And there's certain ones where it works better with, like Joker lends great to comedy, whereas like someone like Dr. Doom getting ravaged by squirrels from Squirrel Girl kind of makes you go, why did they decide to do that? Darth Vader would not be fun slipping on a banana peel, but Skeletor would.
I agree. But now going back to Squirrel Girl, if I'm not mistaken, she is the most powerful hero in the Marvel Universe.
They call her the unbeatable Squirrel Girl. I actually have the first appearance, but the comic is so beat up, it's not really that good of a copy. So it's usually $100 book, but I'm selling mine for $10. So if anyone's interested in a rough copy of the first appearance of Squirrel Girl, I'll work with you.
Manic Plastic says share the link. Now, I'm not sure what link he's talking about. Could he be talking about this link? Maybe, perhaps, maybe he's talking about this link. Could that be the link that maybe he's
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Boom Barella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
Is that the link of which you refer?
If he was to investigate that for scientific purposes or to swipe his credit card onto their OnlyFans site or whatever, we don't judge over here on these fantastic toy adventures. We're just letting you know that this might be out there.
No, and Michael, I will say this, and this is purely for, as Joneser says, informational purposes only.
Scientific research.
If you do go to the OnlyFans page there and you swipe said's credit card and you get access to said images, please collect them into a zip file and put them into a Dropbox so that we can look at those, so that we can all scientifically observe the images therein.
Yes, yes. For
Got to keep up
research,
with the competition.
for research purposes.
Yeah.
Research only. And as I said before, if you steal from enough places, it stops being theft and becomes research.
I hope they'd see that way.
Boobas and toys, but not those kinds of toys. Action figures. G.I. Joe was swimming underwater. Dun, 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 dun.
I remember that. You know, there was a meme too they did where they showed a guy and his lady friend, and she says, you know, I'd like it if we'd it'll bring some. Would you mind if we brought some toys into the bedroom? And the guy says, "Oh, I thought you'd never ask." And then they show her laying down, and he's got the Hot Wheel ramp going. Woo!
Yeah.
That's
What was the meme? I think it was from Game of Thrones or something like that. My lady, my queen, and she goes, "Buy the little toy."
right.
If you've seen my latest book cover, ... Now we're on the edge of our seats. Continue there, Shaitan's hammer, please. As today's show goes further and further and further and further off the rails.
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Boom Barella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
Got to get those. Got to get those subscriptions up. I got to get those views up, folks. Surely this is going to be what it takes, because that's what it takes over there at the Super Multiverse.
Well, you know, Bill, you could always turn me in. I'm 43. You could turn me in for 2 20-year-olds, and you know, just have you know, that's nice, Bill. It would work.
Major.
But I don't know what they would cost. Free. I don't know what they would cost.
Boobies. 1.45 thousand subscribers with only 297 videos.
Sweet.
I admire their hustle. Quite honestly, I'm a little sad that I didn't think of it first.
No kidding.
All right, let's do something more related to today's show. Let me bring this up. All right, so I've got a slideshow of just some images here that I've collected during my days of research, and I want to go through these and let's talk about them one by one here. The box art for the original vintage Snake Mountain. Let's see, what's Boba Hicks saying here? Rival channel Brilliant Toy Journeys is trying to muscle in on my territory. Okay, I'll have to check that out, and maybe we'll send Randy Poffo over there to break their arm and shit, so we can't have that encroaching into our territory here.
Yeah.
And this is quite interesting right here. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. Snake Mountain affiliation, Evil Warriors role. Talking Mountain of Evil Power, the ultimate evil power center, which commands and controls Skeletor and his minions. Snake Mountain is the home base of the Evil Warriors. Within it resides the horrible spirits of the Lords of Destruction. It is from these wicked spirits that Skeletor and his henchmen draw their evil power. A baffling series of catacombs are built beneath Snake Mountain. Exploration there has been limited. Even Skeletor is fearful of what may reside there. Year of intro 1984, and here we see the drawing there, concept drawing of the Snake Mountain. So And here's another picture of Snake Mountain. I think this was from PowerCon here a few years ago. This is a concept drawing of the side of what would become Snake Mountain with He-Man chained to it. The Snake Mountain toy was envisioned very differently from its cartoon counterpart. The basic idea was to reuse the Castle Grayskull concept and make a playset in two halves that could be closed as a carrying case. Unlike Castle Grayskull, most of the features would have been on the outside rather than on the inside. This illustration by Colin Bailey below shows the further development of Snake Mountain, and it introduces the giant monster face on the front of the second playset. There appears to be no evidence of the voice changer device at this point of the development. This untitled trap-filled concept playset appears to be highly interactive when used with the action figures. From this illustration, we can see a collapsing bridge, a creature that leaps out, an array of exploding arsenal, even a secret tunnel. And that would be this drawing here. I don't know how well you can see that, but this was the one of the concept arts there for what would become Snake Mountain. And I'll take a break from the slideshow and come back and see what the comments are from you guys. And I'll, as you guys chat about that, I'll start bringing up a few of these comments here in the comment section.
Well, I'd have to say from that concept art shot, it looks almost like a mix of the Fright Zone and the Slime Pit mixed together.
Yeah, exactly. I'll pull that, you know, and again, you said it a while back. You said it last night as well. Might have even said it at some point today. That was the idea that instead of the party being on the inside, the party's on the outside on this one. Right. Which is one of the reasons why the inside wasn't that developed. I mean, they didn't really want to develop the inside of Snake Mountain because they figured that you would set it up as a diorama and play on the outside of it.
Right. And the inside, they had like the acid pit and like a wooden floor, control box for the microphone and a net. And that was more or less it. There was a net and a trap door.
Right. There's no furniture, no. And of course, the new one is going to alleviate these problems on the inside. But there wasn't even a weapons rack in original Snake Mountain. All they had, they reused the ladder from Grayskull and just made it a darker gray.
Yeah, and which were notorious for breaking.
Right, and as I swipe through these, here we see some concept art or some art that was used in marketing. Now, this is the Snake Mountain that we saw in Filmation, and this Snake Mountain was what spurred the creation of the toy Snake Mountain. I believe that this first appeared in the first episode, Diamond Ray of Disappearance, and I also believe that the addition of these opening scenes with Snake Mountain were not originally part of that, but were added as an afterthought before the episode originally aired. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's I've not heard that before. But yeah, that makes sense to me. That to me, when I close my eyes and I think of Snake Mountain, that's what I see is that Filmation Snake Mountain. The toy one is cool and all, but that to me is not what it's supposed to look like.
And that's what's cool about the Super 7's classic Snake Mountain is when you have it closed up, you can make that rendition of that picture that you just slid from. You can make it look where you see that snake coiled all the way up around and coming. It's really, really an awesome play set.
No,
more closed.
That one's a little too rich for my blood. I really wanted it, but it was like, where would I put it?
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah. And nowadays, I mean, what did that thing go for when it was new? Like $600, $700.
It was pretty expensive.
But it's like now, if you want one, I want to say you're paying a lot more than that.
Oh yeah,
About
oh yeah, you're
1,400.
yeah, yeah, you're paying well over 1,000, I think, for the thing, if I'm not mistaken. If you want to get it, and that's and it may not be complete because now you're dealing with secondary market. You're dealing with somebody else selling their toy, so you don't know if you're getting everything with it or not if you go that route. But that is an awesome set. It is huge. It would probably fill the entirety of my toy scene up over here. There probably would be no way for me to feature anything other than that in this scene here. So I don't know. I mean, you have one, Sir Clifton. So let us know. Do you ever get it out and put it together and set it up and put figures in it?
Right now, I don't have it. I have it. I have it right inside my little closet right over here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all together and everything. But what I'm trying to figure out right now is here in my room on the other side over here where I'm pointing would be a other side of my room.
Mm.
I'm wanting that section to be Masters of the Universe, and gonna have to figure out a table or something, because I do have the Eternia playset that we're gonna get possibly sometime next year, and that's what I'm going to try to bring and introduce and get everything kind of going, because I kind of want to give the Super 7, you're going to have it, but then I'm going to have the vintage where you're going to have, right there, so you don't have to kind of open up that you're going to see the top, have that, but you could go like inside of this right here, and that would kind of mimic what you wanted to kind of have in there. I'm not going to have the Super 7 open because it's just going to be massive. I've
Yeah.
already got the Eternia deal that's going to take tons of room. So,
And that brings up a point. A lot of people may not realize this because it's not really being touted too much in the promotional materials. But I think that they are including this with the Origins Eternia playset. The original Eternia playset contained 2 ramps that would attach the Eternia playset. The Grayskull Tower would attach to Grayskull, and the Snake Tower would attach to Snake Mountain. And therefore, if you wanted to create the ultimate diorama, you would have the Eternia playset in the middle, and you'd have your Grayskull on one side, and you'd have your Snake Mountain on the other side, all connected.
yeah.
To make the ultimate battleground.
And that was the name of one of the mini comics, was it not? That
It was
introduced
the one that I believe the one that came with the Eternia playset. One of the mini comics that's probably the hardest to find or cheapest or more expensive to come by. It's a missing one in my mini comic collection for sure.
And going back to what I'm looking at here, I believe this is from the Obelisk, which is one of the mini comics. We have Skeletor.
Yes.
It looks like Alcala's artwork, sitting here with his minions, Beastman and Triclops, at his feet. The battle is not over yet. We'll watch and see what He-Man finds. We'll use the power of the Obelisk to do him in. Revenge will be sweet. Very interesting. And here we have some artwork where He-Man is battling King Hiss and the Snake Men right outside of Snake Mountain, and right above the face of Snake Mountain, we see these giant snakes slithering around. I love this piece of artwork.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too.
Now, have you guys ever seen this concept drawing before? Do you know what that is?
No.
That is where the face of Snake Mountain was originally going to be. That is a concept drawing for a toy that never came to fruition. And as you can see, Skeletor is up there driving it. You see his face right up there.
Sure.
That would have been the evil version of the Dragon Walker. This is called the Monster Walker, and it had 4 movable arms. Would have had 4 movable arms on it. Somehow these legs would have swapped around, Dragon Walker like, and the character would ride in it back here on the back, I guess, and drive it. So we had this piece of concept here, along with the concept of He-Man chained to the side of the mountain. They took that face and put there on that concept drawing. But where did the original playset come from? Now, we've talked about this before, but we'll go into it again. Look at this. I like this. They're fighting out in front here, and in the back you can see a Castle Grayskull on one side, Snake Mountain on the other. And there's another view of the Filmation Snake Mountain with that little gleam in the snake's eye, and the blood falls here coming between the two peaks there. And just moving right along. Now here is the images that were released recently by Mattel of the new playset. And going back here, there's the original box art on the front. I am the spirit of Snake Mountain at the electronic microphone. If I can get to it. Here's another view of Snake Mountain from the mini comics. He-Man and the heroic warriors observe Skeletor's lair from afar. Snake Mountain seems to be guarded by an army, and these are these little characters that you can see here glowing in yellow. No army can stand against us, says He-Man, because he's the ultimate warrior. Here we have the playset that was originally envisioned, He-Man's Jungle Adventure playset. And you can see the concepts of Snake Mountain throughout this, the rickety bridge, the doorway to nowhere up there at the top, the snake coming out of the side there. But over there, Zodak's peeking out from a cave, and you can see a little waterfall there. You can see a cannon kind of hinting out. Let me get it back over there. Here we go. Zoom in on that. You see this. There's a cannon right over here on the side, coming out of the side of the mountain. We got rocks covering up holes. There's a big rock covering up the cave hole there. And that would have been an interesting design. They used this along with the Dragon Walker design to create the Snake Mountain playset that we got. And this concept came after Filmation had produced the Diamond Ray of Disappearance cartoon and introduced a Snake Mountain as Skeletor's lair. So they're like, okay, and they're doing that. We've got to come out with a.
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Boom Barella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
I don't know how much you caught of what I was saying, but yeah, they go ahead, Jones.
I was just saying we didn't catch much. You were blurbing out.
Yeah, what I'll say, they took the Dragon Walker design and they took the design of this playset and combined them, but they did that because Filmation had produced the Diamond Ray of Disappearance cartoon that introduced Snake Mountain as Skeletor's lair, and they're like, okay, we've got to do this too. What do we have already tooled up and ready to go? What can we use? And that is why they didn't make a Snake Mountain that looked exactly like Filmation Snake Mountain. They made this other design close, but not quite. But served the purpose perfectly, in my opinion. You know, so your mileage may vary.
Sure. No, like I said, like if someone says Snake Mountain to me, I think of that Filmation image because it's emblazoned in my child memory. But as far as like play as a child, then yeah, I go to this Snake Mountain because that is the one I played with as a child. So the both are good. I like both.
And pretty much, I'm in the same category that you are there, Joneser. I'm looking through these pictures. You can see this is a nice picture right here to get in there. So we've got actual floors inside of this new Snake Mountain. We've got the Bone Throne sitting up there.
Well, these weird, fantastic
He's
adventures
there.
maybe blurbing out on us again here. But Bill's trying to
Blurbing
describe
out.
the playset as it is.
And,
We got you.
am I here? Am I here there, Jones, or I can't tell whether I am or not half the time?
You are now.
You are now.
Okay. All right. Well, I was zooming in on the picture, so I couldn't see what was going on in StreamYard, and I was just running my mouth. But we have a weapons rack. We have the jail cell instead of the freaky net that never worked. Bone throne. We have actual floors in here. It looks like a Grayskull ladder, just like the one that came in Grayskull that they're reusing over here. Good idea. And of course, the wooden floor and the slime pit are there as both stickers and a practical effect there that it kind of folds out with the little creatures that can plug into it. And of course, that plug for the creatures is also the same plug that is used to put the legs onto the torsos of the body bucks for the origin figures. So it can appear like He-Man or someone is in the slime pit and up to their waist in slime. So we have that. And let's move on to the next picture here. There's the outside of it put together with the bridge. Here's the one side, and look, this I think is the back side of the jail cell with that closed, so that, it looks like there that you can't just go through the hole there. The cave has bars on it, so unlike the original place where you didn't have to climb all the way up to the doorway to nowhere just to fall into the slime pit, you could have snuck in Snake Mountain right through that hole there in the side of it. Moving on back down through the pictures we've already looked at, let's see what else that I have here, or if I'm at the end of things. Yeah, that's the end of that slideshow, so I'll take that off the screen and I will come back in and join everyone. What do you guys think? Was that an interesting journey there through Snake Mountain and some of the things that kind of brought it to us?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I enjoyed seeing the concept art, especially the sketch. I've seen that picture of the jungle playset before, but that sketch of the concept art, one that took me like Slime Pit met Fright Zone. I've never seen that before, so that was interesting to me.
And Shaitan's Hammer wants to know, is the new version bigger than Castle Grayskull? I think it's going to be same like the Origins Grayskull. It's probably going to be about the same size as the original Snake Mountain playset. However, the additional peak that they added to the doorway is going to make it a little taller than Grayskull.
I believe you are correct, Bill. Yeah. Well, we won't know till we have it in hand, but yeah, I believe you're correct.
As Doomcock would say, this is all mere speculation. I have no way of confirming this, so take it with a grain of salt.
Correct.
He-Man's Jungle Home looks awesome, and I've thought about that creating something similar to that, using some of the plastic play sets that we use with our army men that the Timmy Toys still sells and you can buy on Amazon, and creating some sort of an environment thereof that was more reminiscent of He-Man's Jungle Adventure.
Sure.
The Shaitan's Hammer says that weapons rack alone makes it worth it. Dude, I'm going to tell you something, man. Over there in Walmart, you go over to the craft section, and they have all these little odd sizes of wooden dowels and little sticks and shit over there. You get those, and with a little bit of hot glue and some patience, that weapons rack, I could recreate that exact weapons rack using just that shit from Walmart for just a few dollars. I'm going to do that, by God, and put that in my Snake Mountain, and I've got extra weapons out the ass over here in the pile of shit, and I can have a Snake Mountain with a weapons rack in it,
Yeah.
of my very own, very easily. Looking at the picture of that's not a hard creation to make with craft stuff.
Well, speaking of weapon rack here, I got a question for both of you two gentlemen, if you don't mind, on the weapon rack end of things. Now, I know for me, I'm going to answer my part of it before I turn to you, but when I was a kid, I was very traditional. Zodak has the gun. Man-at-Arms has the mace. He-Man has the sword and the axe. Like, the weapon rack didn't appeal to me as much as it might have to others because it was hard for me to put a spear in He-Man's hand, or it was hard for me to put a gun in He-Man's hand because He-Man don't fight with a gun, right? So, like, my OCD was, like, not letting me do it. Whereas I think Man-at-Arms, I had an exception because he was supposed to be the master of weapons. So I would stick a shield or a club in his hand once in a while. But what did you guys do with that weapon rack? Was it merely a display, or did the other characters go into them? Well, I'll start with Clifton.
Me, I'm like you. My OCD wouldn't let me do that. So it was just like kind of like a memorial piece of what used to be from the pre-Eternia Wars. You know,
Right.
These are some of the cool weapons, but if you use them, you know, they're gonna break, or you know, they're just not gonna be as effective as they used to be.
Decoration.
Yeah.
What was the name of the module? Was it Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, or was it White Plume Mountain? But TSR had a game called Metamorphosis Alpha, and Metamorphosis Alpha crossed over with the world of Dungeons and Dragons at the time, which was the world of Greyhawk on Orth. And there was an expedition, I believe, to the Barrier Peaks in which the characters encountered technology and a crashed spaceship, and were able to go into the Metamorphosis Alpha game world for a little bit there in Dungeons and Dragons. And the concept of the technology of the ray pistols and everything were there, but they had what was known as charges. And once those charges were used up, the weapon was basically useless from that point on. And that is we talked about that with Zodak. He's got cartridges like the cowboys would have on their belts on his belt, but he's got a ray pistol in his hand. What the fuck? The cartridges are charges for his ray pistol. His ray pistol is like a damn flintlock. He gets one ray shot every time he shoves a cartridge in the thing. Makes perfect sense to me. It's the same thing with the weapons in Castle Grayskull. I'm with Clifton on that. We have ancient and forbidden technology that is enclosed into this foreboding castle to protect it from those who don't have any business having it, ergo Skeletor. So the weapons rack is inside Castle Grayskull. Therefore, the characters are not using the ray gun and the space suit and all the different things that are available here inside the castle unless they're in the castle. And then again, you've got this heavy laser rifle that the characters can have in their hand. How many charges does that thing have? How long can they shoot it? How many shots do they get off before it becomes useless? And now, instead of holding it like this, you're holding it by the barrel and using it as a club.
Well,
The only one that could have served any purpose with it is the one that had the charges on his belt, and that was Zodak.
Well, and then that brings up another point. Here let's go over here and look at Zodak for just a moment. What is Zodak riding in there, my friends?
A rocket chair.
It's rocket chair, but what is that? What does the chair on the rocket sled look exactly like and is?
Oh, the chair in Grayskull throne.
It's the Grayskull throne. Now, why is that? And why does the Grayskull throne look so futuristic and almost like the chair that you would see inside
Bill
of.
isn't here yet. I'm Boom Barella, and you are
shut up,
watching the Sunday
Booberella.
Hang.
So what if that chair is actually the pilot's chair from a rocket ship?
Well, and I think that you're getting into some stuff with Masters of the Universe that I think tickled a lot of our imaginations, Bill, and that was the mix between the medieval and the science fiction. You know, the Lord of the Rings blended with the Star Wars, if you will. You know, I mean, does it make much sense for a guy to battle with an axe if there's a ray gun right there? You know, I mean, it's like there's a lot of stuff. Like I remember a friend of mine, I was trying to explain to him what He-Man was because he'd never seen it before. And one of the first things I said was, it was like, you know, Dungeons and Dragons and Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars and Star Trek. And he's like, that sounds like the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
We can actually have an ancient Eternian astronaut theorist episode.
Right.
What does the ancient Eternian astronaut theorist say?
Right. So you got magic, you got medieval weaponry, we got swords, sorcery, and science fiction, all in this wonderful world where I don't understand why this isn't the greatest intellectual property of all time, or why this hasn't become the greatest science fiction movie you've ever seen.
Right.
You know, I mean, just somebody gets the right hands on this, and I mean, tell me this wouldn't be the greatest thing ever.
I agree. And Payne's Toy Samples is in the room. Hey guys, he says, good to see you there, Payne. Glad you stopped in to hang out with us today. And yeah, Booberella is addicted to the spotlight. I put Booberella in timeout. She's not going to be bothering us much anymore today. But you know, she might show up from time to time. You never know. So we'll
I
keep
wonder
that.
what she has to say.
You know, I wonder too. It might be something different.
Well, you know, she doesn't really have much to say.
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Boom Barella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
You know,
Nice.
I can see you guys' mind straight in the
Well, it reminds me of a joke I heard the other day. There was this guy playing golf with an older man, and he said this guy was just a legend, and he was talking like crazy. And he's like, this guy's giving me life hacks and events. And he said on the way out, he's walking to his car. It's a 78-year-old man. And he told him, hey, whatever you do, don't talk to me in the parking lot. My wife's picking me up, and she's convinced I've been deaf for 5 years.
Only married men would find that funny. That would probably baffle these unmarried cats that don't get it.
That's hilarious.
There's some forward thinking.
And Shaitan running with what I was mentioning earlier. Could Castle Grayskull be covering remains of the ancient spaceship that brought the first humans to the planet that became Eternia?
The ancient Eternian astronaut theorists say yes. You know, they never say no.
Chariots of the gods, chariots of the gods on Eternia. Yeah, here we go. I mean, this can go in so many different directions, and it can go as deep as you would like to go with it. I mean, it's kind of neat, in my opinion.
Well, for my play factor, what's a ray gun? You know, it's an energy beam, right? Bam, you shoot an energy beam. I would think that, and this is where my mind spitballed, you got magical people or sorceresses who could shoot a mystical bolt. Well, then you got some scientists who they're outgunned in the wars. You know, you're bringing an axe against a magical bolt. So somebody invents a ray gun, so it's an equalizer. Now you don't have to be skilled in magic to return fire. I felt like that's probably where this great war, or the war of attrition that Bill has talked about, you know, on this. In my mind, that's the beginnings of it. You know, is the ray gun is the equalizer to the magic people.
Well, now let's bring Clark's third law into here. Are you guys familiar with Clark's third law? When I quote this, it's going to bring memories back to you. Any technology sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable from magic.
Correct.
So could the magic that we see the characters be performing actually be such technology that it looks like magic to us?
Sure.
Maybe
Sure.
the
No,
sorceress is using some sort of advanced, super advanced technology to create what appears to be magic, and to her probably is magic.
well, and to me, there's a lot of characters who are technology based and magical based. Like you look at Trapjaw and Man at Arms, they're clearly of the technology area. Manny Faces, but then you go to the magic people, the Evil Lyn, Skeletor, Sorceress. They're of the magic side of things. And then I think you get a nice meet in the middle with Tila, daughter of Man at Arms and daughter of the Sorceress. She's got a foot in both ponds.
And I think Man at Arms was drinking some of that Dickens cider, and in my opinion, that is his daughter.
See, and I don't agree with that because of the episode Tila's Quest. When he's asked, he says, "Your father was the bravest man I ever knew. He sacrificed himself so all Eternians could live in peace." So I feel like he's an adopted.
Fisto, are you in the Fisto camp that Fisto put some of that?
Honestly, there's an undeveloped script that never saw the light of day from the Filmation cartoon where they showed Tila Na, who would be the sorceress, and Man at Arms, and I can't remember the named character that was Tila's father, and he dies in the episode. Mm-hmm. So and they couldn't ultimately do it because they didn't want to do death in a Filmation children's show. But there was a script on the cutting room floor, and I don't know how legit it was, but I've seen it on a He-Man blog many, many years ago. I don't know if it's real or if some fan wrote it, but I enjoyed it, and it's been stuck in my mind ever since. And
sounds like you've been looking deeply into He-Man.org. And if you go down into the forums on that, which at one time they disappeared, I hope that they're all back because those forums are a gold mine of information. Sure. I'm going to take a little break here for a moment, folks, because we got to have a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Dickens Cider.
I can't begin my day until I've had a Dickens cider.
There's nothing better than waking up to a good old Dickens cider.
My girlfriend loves Dickens ciders. My sister came to stay with us for a month, and my husband couldn't go a day without the Dickens cider.
My girlfriend loves a Dickens cider.
My mum loves the Dickens cider.
My sister loves to wake up in the morning with the Dickens cider.
I'm a bit young, but I would love to try a Dickens cider.
So there you have it. For over 150 years, Frederick von Dickens has developed a beverage that literally brings women to their knees. So fellas, for the sake of the economy, get a Dickens cider.
I think I'd like to try that.
Hey, there's a lot to be said for that Dickens cider.
Right.
Going back to the chat here, we opened up something here. Alien refugees imprisoned in the Castle Grayskull dungeon. So the Dwell of Souls, those are alien refugees. Perhaps this explains the frogmonger, who's mongering frogs down there in that dungeon. And I won't say what he consumes for food, but if you want to find out what that is, you would have to go over to see Mr. Home Arcade's episode with the frogmonger, in which frogmonger tells you what he eats. It brings back a memories of what happened to poor old Ostradamus last night at the very end of his show.
Wow.
I don't think I want to touch that one with the 4-foot pole.
I watched
20-foot pole.
Did you see it?
Messed up. Yeah, that was messed up.
Did you go watch that?
Yeah, I did.
You were over there watching that while I was over here watching. Let me share this with you guys.
Did he get to edit it out, or is that on there yet?
I don't know if it's edited out yet. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, he said he was going to try to edit
it
it out.
happened.
So Sir Clifton was over there watching the goat sex man taking a dump on Ostradamus toys. I, on the other hand, went over to the Super Multiverse, where I had a chance to see such offerings as this wonderful.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Unbox with SuperMultiverse.com. My name is Beatrice, and
I watched Beatrice opening Leech there on the Super Multiverse. So I was partaking in a little Dickens cider, and I was watching Multiverse, while you, on the other hand, were watching something totally different and disgusting.
Well, he was on here editing in the backstage, and I thought, well, he's probably edited, and I watched the show, so I was going back and did, and no, he didn't. It didn't get edited.
Oh,
he said while he was in here, he was editing it. He said, "I'm."
Oh, he was. But see, you're kind of new to this. You haven't experienced this yet, but Joneser may have. Have you ever edited a video after you've uploaded it, Joneser?
No, I've switched the thumbnails and things like that, or the title, but I've never gone into the video and made any changes. No. Usually once I've uploaded, I'm 1000% sure, but I haven't gone live.
I've done that. I've done that before. I've had copyright struck videos where I went in and removed the section with the offending material in it, or I have gone in and replaced the section with the offending material in it with different music or something like that. One of the episodes that comes to mind was Shogun Assassin. If you guys remember that, I actually my stream got blocked midstream. You couldn't watch it while I was live on air unless you were actually watching the stream at the time. I think Joneser, that kind of perked you in. That's what brought you in, was what the hell's going on over at Bill? I can't see his stream. It's blocked.
Yep.
I went in and I edited that out. Once I edited that little portion out of there, it began to process again. The processing on the video took almost 16 hours.
Wow.
God.
In the meantime, the video was still up just exactly like it was until it finished processing. So that's what poor Ostradamus is facing. He's editing that section out of his video and waiting for it to finish processing. Meanwhile, Sir Clifton can go over there and watch his heart's desire.
I did have a bit of a question for you, Clifton. When that unfortunate incident in that video occurred, were they quick to get it off camera, or quick to whoa, or did it linger longer than it should have?
The first time was slightly longer, but he kicked him out, and he just made it a rule. He said, okay, we're going to have to see who you are, before, because he was doing it, there might be people that don't want to show their self. And anyhow, it showed their little avatar.
Right. Like
when somebody, there you
like
go.
That. So they came in like that.
And then immediately
come in here, all of a sudden it's no good.
Right. And as soon as you cut it on, pop, there it is. And he's like, no way. Well, he said, everybody's going to have to come in now. He said, you're going to have to, be on camera before you come on. The next one, it showed. And the person, but immediately clicked to that clip.
Right.
That, anyways. And then you go here later toward the end of the show. And, well, actually, another guy come in a third time with that horrible clip. And I don't know. It was bizarre. But then the fourth time was another bad
This occurred
another
4
bad
times.
visual.
So Boba Hicks is wondering what we're talking about here, and I'm just going to elaborate a little bit without getting too X-rated. But basically, Ostradamus Toys was having a live stream. He had an open link in to get into the StreamYard in the chat, so anyone could join. And some people were up to some mischief making, and they were showing lewd and nasty and terrible parts of their anatomy onto the camera, probably in the hopes to ruin Ostradamus' stream, if I've got that right or said that correctly.
You basically said that correct, and I'm going to tell you, Oz hasn't done a live open mic like that for a while. This was a premeditated thing that was done,
Sure.
and person saying, "Oh man, he's doing the open mic," and he had that link to where he could get in, and he took advantage of that. And we already discussed a possibility of allegedment here last night, and I believe that person's was behind that.
You know, and you're probably right, but here's the thing: we got to pretend as creators, we got to pretend that not everybody is out to help us. That there are many people that are, unfortunately, the world is full of trolls, the world is full of idiots, and there's nothing you could do but just plan for them and react to them accordingly. And unfortunately, one of them slipped by on that. I hope Oz is, a little more vigilant or has some quicker people in his moderation.
I gave him a perfect tool to stop that, and that is to have if you're going to put an open link on your channel or you want to let people come in like that, have a separate StreamYard studio open and the link go to that.
Right.
Therefore, you can go while your stream is going on, you can go in there, vet this person really quickly and see what you're dealing with. And then and only then you can give them the real link to get into the actual stream. If you want to have it a live open mic like that. I tried that stuff back here when I first started doing it as well, and I just determined that it's a bad idea to put the stream link right there for anybody to click on and go in. You don't know what you're going to find. And yes,
right. And like professional TV studios are not going to do that. They're not going to leave an open link to the public that you can just come right on. Jay Leno's show and just beat it.
Even Art Bell had a dump button and a delay.
Oh man, yeah.
So I think as content creators, we just have to be vigilant because again, people are crazy. And
the best, along with what he did during the show, and that was right at the end of the show, he said. If you've noticed, some of you in the chat may have noticed that now you've been deputized. He said y'all have the ability to wield Thor's hammer and ban people. Right. But also the other big wall, if you will, is just do it like right here. There's no means unless the links automatically give and the link isn't give. So guess what? You can't come on. You can't do your shenanigans.
Well, I think it's never a good idea to have someone invited in. You don't know what you're dealing with. I'm too cautious of a person.
Well, he's got a big heart, and he's trying to give everybody in a live chat, an opportunity to be able to come on and even if they don't want to show their face, that's what he's reaching to and trying to do. And
I'm
you got people that are just taking this. People that are taking full advantage of the situation.
I'm not faulting Oz in this. I mean, he didn't want for that to happen. Obviously, it's unfortunate that you got to plan for these idiots.
Yeah.
And one of the really unfortunate things. And Boba Hicks brought that up here in that last comment that I flashed on the screen a minute ago. So you think you know someone, and Sir Clifton, you know what I mean by this. You think you know someone, and then once they've wormed their way into your good graces, that's when the knife plunges into your back, and that's when they turn on you. And that's some of that is what I think.
I think what Bill's trying to say here is
that's some of what happened. And
keep your friends close and your enemies closer, you know, and that's just kind of how it goes. And sometimes they're frenemies, you know, they're people who say they're your friends, but they're really like Eminem said, your enemies and secret identities.
Yeah. And that's really what you're hitting on and what Bill was trying to get out in that. And yes, it absolutely happened to me. It happened to Oz, and it's happened to, you know, I could name some other toy creators here that have been involved with this individual, and it got put to light that they've had problems too. And, you know big time creators here. So
to be fair, the individual that is being alleged, that is not being named, it's alleged. Nobody knows for sure if this person did this. I mean, of course, you know, if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's got feathers like a duck, and web feet like a duck, swims in a pond like a duck. It's probably a freaking duck, but you know, it's allegedly a duck at this point.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have any concrete evidence. All we have is circumstantial evidence. But the circumstantial evidence is a bit overwhelming, in my opinion. But yeah,
it's unfortunate. But you know what people do with their free time, like watch a bunch of old men talk about Snake Mountain. You know what? Are you crazy?
Where's Barbarella?
Oh,
let's once again go over here and watch a snippet of this.
Today we're going to be unboxing section.
Jesus Christ. I've heard that one before. How much of that were y'all able to catch?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Kind of wonky for a second there.
Yeah, well, she said, we're going to unbox Leech, the evil master of suction. I've heard that one before.
Well, she might be an expert on suction. I don't know. I haven't seen her resume, but you know, I can't tell you.
I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking of garden hoses and golf balls.
You know, and I don't know. And I mean, quite honestly, I'm trying to just be like, you know, good for them, good for their hustle. They got something that I'm sure there's an. My question is, why are you even bothering with the toy part of this? Like, you don't need that. You just go on there, be a girl with boobs. Like, you don't need to have the toy there. I don't even think people care about the toy on a channel like that. I don't know, unless you're crossing wires up there that I ain't crossed. You know, like, you know. But I don't know. I digress.
Well, I guess it's done something, because Bill watched that last night while he was enjoying a dick and cider.
Sure.
And he got some kind of a email response from Boobarella, and now she's part of the show.
Sure.
Here at Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. So, wow. I don't know what else to say on that.
You know what? I think that's
Unboxed with supermultiverse.com. Today we are going to be unboxing and reviewing McFarlane Toys Superpowers.
And that's the NES Batman game music playing by the way.
So somebody behind this.
I can't believe that she plays video games too.
Whoever's editing this or whoever's behind this knows enough to be dangerous here. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I tip my hat to them.
I tip my hat to Bill because he got a new person on the stream here, Boobarella.
Sure. Do you think Boobarella will be a permanent addition to the show, Bill?
I think she has to.
Hey guys.
Awesome. I think Boobarella might need a little more dialogue, but yeah, she does her okay.
I bet she'll have more to say as
different outfits.
Gets herself into it. She's kind of shy right now.
Sure, she's just learning.
Yeah, she is. We're getting there with her. I have no doubt they're drawing decent numbers. Fair play to them. Like Jones says, you got to respect the hustle. I think even YouTube needs an excuse. They aren't into boobs for boobs' sake. You know, it's just they're unboxing toys for us. They just so happen to be wearing bathing suits.
And for $3.99, you can watch them unbox that toy without the bathing suit.
And you may get a response from one of them babes that want to be a part of your show.
Yeah, that won't be cheap.
And one of them could possibly be selling merch, like little bags of her farts and stuff like that.
Oh, sure. Oh, those are the best. Or used undergarments and things like that. It's like, you know what, I gotta respect that hustle too, because there's always an idiot out there somewhere. Like, when I was doing that card show, my partner Keith, he does the cards, I do the comics, and he had a dollar bill, and there was something weird about the dollar bill, so he was selling the dollar bill for $3. And I said, dude, that's the most genius thing I've ever seen. And he said, what's that? And I said, you're selling $1 for $3. That's hilarious. I should do that. I should sell $5 for $8.
My dad once said that you could make a vending machine that's just a metal box with a slot in the top with a sign on it that says "Insert coin here."
Yeah, give you nothing, people will put their money in it anyway.
Yeah.
My granddad always said, "Fool and his money are soon parted," and ain't that the truth?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel that way every time I buy a Hasbro toy.
NECA.
I was thinking of selling some Irish Air on eBay.
Not a bad idea.
Awesome.
Bad idea. You can put a picture of Boobarella on there saying that it came from her.
Right?
Boobarella Toots.
There you go.
$19.99 on the Weird Fantastic merch store.
And all it would be is Bill after taco night.
But no. Remember now, the magician's secrets are never to be revealed.
Make a lick a high, make a honey ho.
Oh,
I had to do it.
I'm sorry. My superpower is to take things too far.
Figuratively speaking, has come in on the end of this. Oh, you missed the show, brother. You missed the show. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Bill isn't here yet. I'm Boobarella, and you are watching the Sunday Hangout on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
Oh. You ever walked in on a conversation, mid-conversation, and something fucked up was said in it, and you didn't realize what you'd walked into?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day I walk into the break room at work, that happens.
Oh, I could only imagine in the type of job that you and I have, it's very, very blue collar, and that can be interesting. We walk around at work, and this is how we show our love to one another. Fuck you, you old bastard.
Oh my God, we call that I work at I can say it. I work at a organic vegetable plant called Snowpack. where we do organic foods, and we lovingly call that the snowpack salute.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Sir Clifton has worked in one of the most harrowing professions, and one of the most nerve-wracking professions that there is to work in, and that is corrections. And yes,
every second is an adventure.
Yeah, my sister was an administrator there. She was the HR at a prison in California, and so yeah, I'm very aware.
Yes, and so we sometimes get a little bawdy and blue, but it's all in good fun, and of course, there's much worse to be seen out there. Figuratively speaking, I'm glad you showed up today. I'm glad everyone showed up today. Hell, we've done 2 hours and 10 minutes on a Sunday, and usually it's only about an hour show, sometimes a 30-minute show on Sunday. It's just been fun. I mean, I don't want to quit, but I have to eventually. And I know that you guys...
I've got some things I got to do before I go on tonight with Cliff.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I know you guys, especially Sir Clifton's got pre-show that he needs to get started on. And, of course, I know that you, Joneser, have a family as well, and that sometimes you have to make an appearance and be dad. So we're gonna bring this one to a close, everyone. I appreciate everyone being here. You guys have been a ton of fun, and thank you for indulging me. And I'm hoping that Boobarella and her booby friends will bring me some more views. I'm trying to get in on that hustle myself. I don't know how well it's working out, but we shall see when we look at the statistics over the next few days. Any final thoughts, starting with you, Sir Clifton?
I'm anxious to find out the results and find out, on the next show, what's going to happen with Boobarella. Is she going to be a fixture here, or is she going to, she just decided to not be here no more.
We'll just have to see what happens on that one there, Sir Clifton. You never do know. One of her friends, like Stripperella or somebody, may show up, and hang out with us. Well, we'll just have to see. More incentive, therefore, to tune in and see when that happens. Joneser, any final thoughts there, sir?
Well, I'd just like to say that today's Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures were brought to you by the letter Q and the number 4, and that you'll have to stay tuned to see what other kind of Arellas may show up or what other kind of ciders might happen, and you never know what Bill might pull out of his sleeve like the magician that he is.
Thank you so much, Joneser, and thank you, chat, for joining me today. Thank you, viewers, for joining me. Those of you who are watching this on the restream, and if you're not subscribed to me, please hit the subscribe button and subscribe. And everyone have a good journey, and until next time. Special thanks to these supporters on Patreon. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like and subscribe and share the video.